Hello. This time I'd like to tell you about the motor that we're working on. It's sort of like a parallel project to the car, because the intention is to get the car to run with the original motor, and everything is all straightened out. Then we'll switch to the big boy. Now this is a 3.9 motor out of an '06 Pontiac G6. But I've started to modify some of the outside parts. Now I've owned this motor for about a year and a half. I've been kind of researching what can be done and who has already done more extreme internal work and some of the outside work. Now you can see some of the changes have already started to take place. The water crossover has been everything has been cleaned off of that except for the water channel. The timing chain cover, a lot of that mess across the front and the water pump and all of that has all gone away. And you can see that I've made connections. There's going to be a remote water pump, electric water pump that sets remotely, maybe out as far out as in the wheel well or catch some air. But most of the real work is going to go on inside. Now the intention is to try and build a motor that will spin up with a red line maybe as high as 9,000. The goal is to go at least 8 and to push it up as far as 9,000 RPMs if I can. Now some serious changes have to be done. This is a brand new motor. It's never been in a car. It has 0 miles on it. I bought it out of a junkyard out in Michigan, and they said that it was being tested to go in a car when it fell off and it broke the water pump and did some other damage. Now as I look at this internally, this motor, there's no evidence that it ever ran. There's absolutely no soot in the exhaust ports. There's no evidence anywhere that this engine ever ran. And of course the first thing I did is change it to the 3.5 intake manifold upper plenum, which I have started making several changes, mostly to smooth it out and partly to convert it to a real rear-wheel drive car. Internally, I will intend to put in the lightest pistons that I can, but they will also have to have a reverse dome, or in some instance you would call it a dish. And I want to get the longest rods I can. Now, I have already purchased a set of LS pistons that really, the block only needs to be bored about 10 thousandths, I think, maybe less. We'll get to that. We'll figure that out at the machine shop. I also intend to use rods that are 6 1/8 inch long, and I plan on using the stock crank, which is a forged steel unit, and that stroke might have to be reduced about 27 thousandths, not very much, but I'm going to turn the journals down from 2 1/4 inches all the way down to 2 inches. And then I can use 327 Chevy rod. I'm of course not going to use something from the 60s. I'm going to use a brand new, very lightweight rod to help me run to the high RPMs. I have found a source for titanium valves, both intake and exhaust, which I'm hoping to use. But really, my biggest question, in my mind anyways, is the valve train. I need to use solid roller lifters to get the RPMs that I want, but that would mean an adjustable rocker arm, and that problem hasn't been sorted out. But as you all know, every plan is subject to failure at the first onset of your efforts. So you'll have to check back to see if any of these plans could be made to happen. My desktop dyno says that I should be able to get 475 horsepower out of this little motor. It kind of sounds like pie in the sky. I won't settle for less than 400. But I'm going to plan on getting a lot closer to that 475 at the crank. And then of course you lose 10 or 15% by the time it gets to the tires. So keep watching. Maybe we'll both learn something about these 3.9 liter motors. Thanks.